Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here via spring.me/Aaron Rift. So let's get started with the first one today from Watts E. Fry's Rift. Would you be surprised if CM Punk returned or Sting debuted around the Summerslam period, with WWE knowing that the first 6-month subscription of the network would be finishing? That is a good question. For the people that signed up when the network was launched, their 6-month commitment will be expiring around the time of SummerSlam. So one would think WWE is going to have something huge planned for SummerSlam to generate the buzz and get those people potentially staying on for another 6-month period. So WWE is going to want to make this SummerSlam as big of a show as possible. Now, does that mean we will see CM Punk or Sting return? That remains to be seen. I think that with CM Punk, anything is possible. He could come back tomorrow, he could come back at Payback, he could come back at SummerSlam, or he might not return. Nobody really knows at this point, but SummerSlam would certainly be a good place for CM Punk to make a comeback, although I think Payback would be ideal since it's in Chicago, but CM Punk might need more time away, and SummerSlam would be a good 8 or 9 month period since he left. Regarding Sting, I think that you could do something with Sting. If the plan is for Sting to actually wrestle a series of matches before going into the Hall of Fame, SummerSlam would be the perfect place for Sting to have his first big match. Regardless of what happens, whether it's CM Punk coming back or Sting making his first match in WWE, I think that we will see something significant at SummerSlam, some kind of big surprise or some kind of blockbuster match to get people that are on the fence about sticking with the WWE Network to recommit for another 6 months and potentially get other people to sign up for the network that haven't already. Alright, this next one comes from Best in the World 9. Hey Aaron, regardless of what's going on with CM Punk the first few months, is a work or not, when do you think would be the best time for him to make his return? Could he possibly come back to destroy the Authority, or is CM Punk done for good? Well, as I just mentioned, SummerSlam would be a good place for him to return, but the real answer here is when CM Punk is mentally and physically ready to come back, and nobody knows that answer but him. So he should not come back when he's not fully ready to come back and get back into the groove. If he is still like 90% ready to come back, he should wait. He should take his time and just enjoy the time off and come back when he is fully charged and ready to go again. So I think that first of all, I don't think it's a work at this point. The fact that he missed out on WrestleMania, that is something significant. But I'm sure if and when he does come back, there will be people trying to claim that it was a work all along. But I mean, he was burned out. I mean that seems to be the logical reason why he's gone. That the guy just mentally and physically had to step away for a while and take a break and just distance himself from the wrestling business for the time being. Alright, this next one comes from Irish J. Hey Aaron, greetings from Ireland. Love the show, keep up the good work. Thank you for that. My question is, if CM Punk has indeed made his last appearance in WWE, do you see him getting a Hall of Fame induction considering how he left the company? Let me say this first. I would be very surprised if we do not see CM Punk in a WWE ring again. That would shock me if he never makes his return and we've seen the last of him in the ring. I think he will be back at some point when, like I said, he is mentally and physically 100% ready to come back. And as far as him going into the Hall of Fame, let's just say for argument's sake that he doesn't come back, which I don't think will happen. But if he doesn't come back, absolutely I see him going into the Hall of Fame, and I think that he would accept the offer to go into the Hall of Fame, and WWE would be more than happy to bring him in because he was a major part of WWE storylines over the past several years. He had some of the best matches in the company, and he's a guy that has gotten people talking. Every time CM Punk does something significant, whether he wins the title, whether he does a pipe bomb promo, whether he leaves. Whenever CM Punk makes a noise, it's heard everywhere. CM Punk is a guy who has made a huge impact on the wrestling industry, and he's a no-brainer for the Hall of Fame. And especially if he comes back and he has more great moments, he will be a top contender for the Hall of Fame, no doubt. All right, this one comes from Creature13. How long do you think TNA will go with Jeff Hardy's alter ego, Willow? Because I don't see TNA giving him the world title as Willow. I think that it depends on how long Jeff Hardy himself wants to keep doing the gimmick. I think it's something that he wants to do. It's something that keeps him entertained. TNA is not really going anywhere, so it's a chance for Jeff Hardy to have fun and do something different and portray this alter ego on television. So I think it's his call. I think that he could go for the TNA title with a character, and I don't think it will really matter one way or another. TNA business is going to do what it's going to do at this point. Nobody's really a draw. The company is just kind of treading water. So Jeff Hardy can go out there, be himself. He could be Willow. He could go out there and wear a bag over his head, a plastic bag or a paper bag over his head, and the people that are going to tune in are going to tune in regardless. So it doesn't really matter. And, it could happen, might not happen, whatever, who knows. All right, this next one comes from Knowledge Allah. Hey Aaron, now that the IC title is getting a push, do you see the same thing happening with the United States title, or will Dean Ambrose just walk around with it? Well, I actually saw a funny image on Facebook and Twitter, the U.S. title tournament brackets, and Dean Ambrose is every single name on the bracket. At this point, I don't really know what's going on with the U.S. title, why they haven't even bothered to have him defend the title or have him drop the title to somebody. Really, I think it's time to just merge the titles with one brand and the brand extension being over pretty much. I don't really see the need in two titles that basically serve the same purpose, which is being a mid-card title. I think you should just merge the titles and have one championship. The U.S. title, maybe they're just going to not even mention the U.S. title again and just let it fade away and people will just forget about it. I mean, that's very possible at this point that they won't even have them come out with the U.S. title and just, be a memory. And I would prefer they actually have an official end to it, but I could see it just disappearing altogether. Wouldn't surprise me at all. All right, this one comes from Brucius. Hey Aaron, now that Paul Heyman has Cesaro and Lesnar, would you like to see Paul Heyman become the new-aged Bobby Heenan with the Heyman family? If so, who would you like to see join the Heyman family? I would not like to see a Heyman family. I don't think Paul Heyman should be managing any more guys besides Cesaro and Lesnar. They already tried having Paul Heyman manage Curtis Axel and Ryback, and we saw how far that went. So, not everything Paul Heyman touches turns to gold. So if it was me, I would just stick to Brock Lesnar, which has been working, and Cesaro. Cesaro, just focus on one guy that you're pushing as the future, and then, of course, he has the veteran Brock Lesnar that he's working with. Just doing anything more, I think, is overkill and not necessary, and it waters down Paul Heyman. I think that Paul Heyman is best working with one or two guys at the most. All right, this one comes from WraithWolf007. Do you think it's a step backwards for Randy Orton and Batista to be following Triple H again in Evolution? No, I don't see it as a step backwards. The fact is, Randy Orton and Batista have gotten stale, and even Batista's gotten stale, even though he just came back, and fans don't want to see them in the main event title picture. So this is the next best thing you can do with them. Put them together with Triple H and let them be the top heel faction. That way, Orton and Batista still have a high-profile position on the WWE roster, and they're in a major storyline, and they're still being utilized, to the most of their abilities. So I think it's great that they've done the Evolution reunion. Makes sense to me, and I don't see it as a step backwards. And you can always have them challenge Daniel Bryan down the line later this year for the title. You can still do Daniel Bryan versus Orton, Bryan versus Batista, even Bryan versus Triple H. Lots of matches, as I mentioned in previous videos. that you can do with Daniel Bryan. So, you know, it's fine. I think it's a good way to utilize those guys. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell a friend about No DQ&A video. Anybody you know who watches wrestling, have them check out No DQ&A video. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time for another edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks for watching.